So if you do 2 times 5 times 10, right, that's a 10. And then plus 2 times 10 times 2. And then plus 2 times 5 times 2. My parentheses are a little weird, but it shouldn't matter. 2 times 5 times 10 plus 2 times 10 times 2 plus 2 times 5 times 2. 160. Should be 160.
I feel like this, like I put each equation and then I put 2 times 2 is 40. And 40 plus 20. There you go. This simple math, I just
It's on the formula.
It is on the formula sheet. So the things on the corner are snipped straight from the formula sheet. So if you have questions out in Zoom land, we were just talking about like number 2, how to find that surface area for the rectangular prism.
But did you mean to put the timer on it or not?
You do have a second attempt gauge.
wait for the third one.
Why is volume huge?
So
Volume is cubed because you're multiplying 3 linear things together. Length times width times height gives you 3 dimensions.
So is 6 the width or is 3 the width?
It doesn't matter. You just assign them. So like if 6 is the width and 8 is the height, then 3 is the length. It doesn't matter.
The whole table?
Remember, the triangular prisms are definitely the hardest ones. So as you have questions, please ask about them.
At first, when I saw you post this, I was like, oh my gosh. Then I was like, this is easy. We only have 2 minutes left.
Where are you already on? Where are you so
What? An 80?
all of this is gonna be on asphalt.
There are usually 2 or 3 questions on the SOL on surface area and volume, and I have no idea which shapes they'll give you. One of them is usually so extremely hard that it makes teachers scratch their heads. And one of them is usually really easy. And then the other one is like kind of a crapshoot. They all come at the end of the test, so they'll be in like the last 10 questions.
Someone know our score, but you think it's Friday. I know our score people.
Whoa.
As soon as I am emailed the scores, I will send you a Schoology message with your score. Kristen, yeah, today is kind of self-paced. So as you have questions, like those in the classroom are starting to finish up with rectangular prisms and move into triangular prisms. So that's kind of where you should be right now. What?
Yeah, they have like really fast biology.
And then the height of the shape is when it's sitting on its face.
find the surface area, you just substitute it in here. So it's going to be the height of the shape, 20. And then plus 2 times. Okay, well, if you need. Is that all right?
We want to talk about the first one in triangular prisms. Is everybody there? You shouldn't be able to, let me share my screen. Hold on one second. We'll go back over it. You're going to put your answers into the puzzle pieces. All right. So I'm going to share my screen for this first triangular prisms question. Okay. Triangular prisms are tough in a bunch of ways. One way is because there's a big B, which is the area of the base, which is usually a triangle. And then there's a small b, which is the height or is the base of that triangle. There's also two h's. There's the height of the triangle and there's the height of the prism itself. So to find the area of the base, you need to use the triangle formula. Okay, so all I'm looking at is this little triangle over here. The base is 16 and the height is 15. So to find the area of the base, which is the big B, you're going to do 1/2 the base, which is 16, times the height, which is 15. This gives you the big B. The big B is the area of this triangle. So when you do 1/2 16 times 15, what do you get? What is it? 120? So the area of the base, the big B, is 120. Then it says, what is the height of the whole shape? The height of the whole shape is not the height of the triangle. It's different. So it's not this 15. The height of the whole prism is this 20. So H equals 20. We all right? Then we've got the perimeter. The P is the perimeter of this whole shape. So 17 plus 16 plus 17. The perimeter is just the perimeter of the base. So 17 plus 16 plus 17. So is that 30, 40? Is that 50? Mm-hmm. So that's the perimeter of that triangular base. And then to find the surface area, we've got to do this whole thing. So this is the height of the shape times the perimeter of the base, and then add 2 of the area of the bases. The H is the height of the shape. So that's this right here. So it'd be 20. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember triangular prisms are the most complicated. You need to be able to find the perimeter of the base. It could be. That's why I'm showing it to you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'll be happy to share again if we need to. Once you get your answers, you want to go into the green puzzle pieces that are in the folder and put your answers there. Okay. So you're going to put your answers in the green puzzle piece. Zach, did that answer your question? Remember, the triangular prisms are the hardest. Everything for the second one is going to be the same. The perimeter is the distance around, the height is the height of the shape, and the area of the base is what you found is the area of the base before. And then this one? So height is 20 times the perimeter plus 2 times the base. What'd you get? So 16 times 15 divided by 2 is 120. So when we put this into the surface area formula, right, we've got a height, which is 20. So 20 is the height, that's the H. 120. Oh no, see, I'm doing it wrong. I don't like the triangle ones either. So the H is my 20. H is 20. The perimeter is 50. And then plus, that's a plus, not an equals, 2 times 120, because that was the base. Mm-hmm. And that's up there, right? Mm-hmm.
So funny.
You know, maybe you didn't mean it like that.
So sweet. So let's send it again.
Which one?
I definitely saw it.
That's mine.
Yeah, send it again.
Why do you have that in the first place?
Listen. We don't talk about it.
So guys, out in Zoom, we just talked about question number 1 on triangular prisms, and I put in the chat what we put on the board. So the H is 20, the P is 50, and the area of the base is 120. And then number 2, you're going to use those same things. So the B, the area of the base is the area of that triangle. So you need to do 1/2 base times height in order to find the big B. So that's all of this area in here. And then you got to do the height, and that's the height of the prism. So that's this whole height. So the H here is going to be 20. The third one is tough. Mm-hmm. Hey.
What is it?
Mm-hmm. The base? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you make it like color? Make it like a color service that everyone's doing.
That's how that's a lot of people.
That's a what?
That's not how this goes.
Oh.
I can make it like a service and then it's like 400.
Yeah. I thought it was how
Say it again, Dawn.
It's like it's just
Mm-hmm. I think so. Mm-hmm.
This is such a funny picture. I'm going.
I don't know why more people are talking about it.
Right. It's like, look at it.
I swear to God. People didn't get from Virginia. I don't remember like that.
Didn't Jeffrey start sleeping fire?
It's like you guys have forgotten where you are.
I don't think you're supposed to say that. Yeah, this isn't school. It's educational. If we were in history class, we gotta start having normal discussions and saying, no, that's not racist.
Yeah, I'm sold. People hate it. Low key, high key rich.
Show the story.
This guy is
Nope.
You look at me expose your friends and their toes. Is that like,
What? No, it's not. No.
you can get ready for that.
What the?
Sell your friends toes.
That's what I was thinking.
You can get ready for that.
This class is so dysfunctional. Guys, I'm gonna have a video over this.
Let me know when you get to question 3 if you have questions. So what kind of triangle is it? So if it's an equilateral triangle, how do you find the perimeter? Mm-hmm. So folks at home, I'm going to share my screen. If you know you have an equilateral triangle on question number 3, and you know that base is 12, what's the perimeter? That's going to be 3 times 12. If you're trying to find the area of the base, you're going to do this again. The how tall is the figure is still this height. That's a 3, by the way. Yeah, so what is 3 times 12? And then you're going to use the surface area now that you have the H, the P, and the B. And you're going to do volume now that you have the B and the H. We should be done with triangular prisms in the next 5 or 10 minutes. How to find the big B? So the big B is just the area of this triangle. And the area of the triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So the base is 12 and the height is 8 for this one. And the base is 16 and the height is 15 for this one. The big B, are you on question 2 or question 3? So 12 times 8 divided by 2 is going to be 48. Yeah, absolutely. That big B is 48. Mm-hmm. So the tricky part is finding that big B and sometimes finding the height.
I love that, Mason. I love that too. What?
Question number 4 usually causes some questions too, so let me know when you get there and we can talk about that.
You should time me. Ready? After 5. 1, 2, 3.
I'll stop sharing when you guys are ready for number 4. Let me know.
These muffins are mine.
No, he's not saying that. Take question 4 to go out for trouble.
Mm-hmm. So question number 4, it just shows you the picture of the base and it tells you the height of the triangular prism. So I usually just sketch it to make sure that I understand what I'm doing. This is, well, so when we're talking about triangular prisms, the height is perpendicular to the base. So sometimes the height is along the ground, not vertical. Okay, depending on how it's sitting. So it's not always oriented the way you think it should be. I still need to find the base first because ultimately I'm trying to find the volume. So the problem is I don't have a height here. I've got this equilateral triangle that's 5 by 5 by 5. So I know this height bisects this. Each of these are cut in half. So this left side is 2.5 and this right side is 2.5. And this half is a right triangle. So in order to find the height of the right triangle, I've got to square my two legs. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 2.5 squared, that's one of the legs, plus the height squared, I'm going to change that to an h, equals, I'm trying to find the big B. But in order to find the big B, I need the h. So 5 squared. Okay. So in order to do this area equals 1/2 base times height, we've got to find this height. And we find the height with Pythagorean theorem. So if I do 2.5 squared and 5 squared, and I subtract them, and then I take the square root, what's h equal? So 25 minus 2.5 squared is 18.75. And then I can take the square root of that. Anybody got the height? And then we got to take the square root of that. So this height right here is 4.3. So the base of this triangle is 5. So to find the big B, I've got to do 1/2 that base, which is 5. The height of the triangle, which I just found with Pythagorean theorem, is 4.3. That's going to give me my big B, the area of this triangle, 4.3 and 5. So big B is 10.75. And then we know the height of the whole shape is 7, right? So volume equals big B times this h. So that's going to be 10.75 times 7 is going to be my volume. So height of the triangle is 4.3. Height of the shape is 7. So you got two heights and they're different numbers. So the height of the triangle you found with Pythagorean theorem. The height of the shape is given to you. And then you use the area you found and the height that you were given in order to find the volume of the whole shape. Like I said, these are the toughest ones.
Oh, by the way, don't put 10.75. Yeah. 10.8.
I can fix that.
No, I'm saying like I didn't put it in yet.
Oh, okay.
You get a lot of cancer. I think I guess.
Any other questions on the triangular prism one? I'm happy to go back if we need to. Otherwise, you should be starting on the cylinders at this point. Cylinders are a lot easier than triangular prisms.
This chest was.
Yeah, my table was like the favorite table, so like we have to use all of those.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Which one are we looking at? So there's two different heights. The height of the triangle is 4.3, and the height of the shape of the prism is 7. In the puzzle piece, it should tell you. Does it not? Did I not update it? Sorry if I show anybody's grades here. So height of the triangle should be the first box. And then the area of the base. And then height of the prism, which is what's given to you. And then volume of the prism.
The area of the base is just a big number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
You gotta multiply. So this is base times height. The base is 10.75 and the height is 7. So you gotta multiply.
Look, it's nice, right? See, she likes it. So is it?
Your answers for the cylinders are underneath these coins. I don't know why I felt like I needed to hide them. I want you to do as many as you can, yeah. So I'm encouraging you to do as many as you possibly feel like you can try to do, but I'm not going to mandate it. So like I said, cylinders are a whole lot easier. So if you haven't moved into cylinders yet, I encourage you to move into cylinders.
No, I didn't. I actually saw it.
She didn't actually solve it. She didn't actually
Yes, I did.
solve that.
Look at that. Look at that. Almost out.
Yeah, we not. Does it go to the answers?
It does. You have to move the gold coins.
Yeah, it was the gold coin, bro.
Lateral area is the side area. So when you're talking about a cylinder, it's the area that like the soup can label would be. Like if you're looking through a spyglass, it's the sides, not the bottoms.
Wait, so for this one, you have like so hard.
So in cylinders, let me share my screen real fast. In cylinders, if you move all the gold pieces, you'll get all your answer choices. Here we're using pi, so you might not get these exact answer choices. You want to use the one that's closest, okay? If you get 3.14 twice, you get 3.14 twice. Actually, 3 times, I guess, okay? So there's 3 of them. If you look at the formulas, you've got volume, lateral area, and surface area. Lateral area is the sides without the 2 bases. So the lateral area is the sides without the 2 bases. You're just going to substitute in pi r squared h, 2 pi r h, or 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. These ones are so much simpler. You just have to think about what you're doing. Question number 4 kicks it up a notch a little bit. And then question number 5 is a little bit tricky too. So let me know when you get to those and I'm happy to help. But 1, 2, and 3 are pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's up there. See, well, right now we're at 1.92. There's more.
Yeah. I appreciate it. See all the possibilities.
Be careful on the second one, you're given the diameter, not the radius.
Oh, that's a diameter. I messed that up. That's the radius is actually 4 on that. I keep thinking 100.5. Surface area is not on
2 times 3.14.
Yeah, now I know you're right.
Okay. So again, you want to do as many of these as possible. The more you get done here in class, the less you'll be tempted to have to do them at home over the weekend. Because I know everybody's going to want to do geometry over Memorial Day weekend.
Why would I not? I wake up at 4.
My life is not going to be complete unless I do some geometry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not even geometry teachers say that. So again, 1, 2, and 3 are pretty easy. Let me know when you get to 4 if you have any questions. If you have questions on the other ones too, sometimes just weird little mistakes.
Is it possible for there to be a base?
So the base is that circle. So like if you look at it, let me get a pen. This pi r squared is the base. So volume is always base times height. It's just a matter if the base is a circle or a triangle or a square. That base is always like whatever you do times the height. Volume is always base times height. This part just changes depending on what shape you have. We said, just kidding, not doing it.
Anyone else in the people?
Hey, I don't think we should continue this.
What?
I realize you're gonna use it.
The story's in the chat.
5 is the height. So for this one, 5 is the height, 4 is the diameter, so the radius is 2. So folks at home, I'm going to share my screen again because we got to number 4 in the classroom. For number 4, the height is 5, the diameter is 4, so the radius is 2. So when you find the volume, you're going to do pi times r squared times h. And then for the rectangular prism, it's 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet. So 2 by 2 by 4. So you want to find the volume of that, length times width times height. For the rectangular prism. So you've got rectangular bales of hay and you've got this cylinder bale of hay. So you got to find both. So the volume of the square bale is your first answer. So if you know the big one, the purple one, and you know the small one, the red one, you can divide them to figure out how many of the small ones fit in the big one. So big divided by small gives you the answer number 3. So big divided by small, or cylinder divided by rectangle. So you want to find the area of the cylinder bale, and then find the area or the volume of the cylinder bale, and then find the volume of the rectangular bales, and then divide them. Big divided by small gives you the last thing. How many small bales fit inside the big bale? Big divided by small. Alana, does that make sense to you guys? Christian? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. If we need to talk about number 5, I'm happy to start sharing again.
Okay, for number 2, on the circles thing, what was this? What? Sorry.
So we did volume, right? So, and then we just got to find the surface area. So it's this one. Surface area and volume. Okay. What's the surface area formula? So you should fill in everything you know. I know that 1890, right? So 1890 is my surface area. And I know the radius is 9. So 2 pi 9 squared plus 2 pi times 9 and then h. So can I put this whole thing in my calculator and see what it turns out to be? So it's like 500 and, I don't remember, 505, 508, 509, something like that.
I got 508.68.
Okay, so this decimal is going to change a little bit because we're using pi. And then can I put in 2 times pi times 9? Should be something close to 50 maybe. Then can you solve this for h? You'd subtract 508 from both sides. I just realized, folks, out in Zoom I was not sharing, so let me share my screen. We're talking about number 5, and we just wrote down the surface area formula, and then we substituted in. So I substituted the 890 for my surface area, and I substituted the 9 for my radius. And then all we did was put these numbers in the calculator to clean it up a little bit, right? I don't like looking at 2 times pi times 9 squared, so we put that in the calculator and got 508.9. I don't like looking at 2 pi times 9, so we put it in the calculator and got 56. Now all we're doing is solving. Subtract your constants from both sides and then divide by your coefficient. And it should give you h. Okay. It should be 1890 minus 508.9. Get whatever that is. I don't know what that is. And then divide by 56.5. And that's going to equal h. So whatever you get here after you subtract, divide, and find h. How many what? How many years have I been teaching? 15, 18. I've only been teaching geometry. This is my 4th year in geometry. I didn't even, like, my degree is not in math either. The last time I took a math class myself, I was a senior in high school. Okay. Once you get done with the cylinders, I encourage you to go on to the cone, the spheres. So it's important to put in the numbers that are here. So whatever is closest. Thank you. Whatever's closest, put in these numbers, just because it's not multiple choice.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
The green slide starts spheres. The important thing to know is spheres is that if you slice them in half, you literally just divide in half. So question number 1, you would use the whole volume formula. Question number 2, you'd use the volume formula and then divide your answer in half. And all your answers should be here under the little gold balloons.
You automatically submitted my assignment sent to you.
Oh.
You already reached the maximum number. That's from like almost a year ago.
I could probably fix that.
I know I'm looking on that. No, it's fine. That's because Kalani didn't even take the picture from here. I think he submitted my first attempt. So let me do it again. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Is that split? It's split.
I can't wait to just like next week, like I can't wait to see it done.
Yes, and then the last thing is going
So what are you gonna do after that?
nothing.
I think you've asked me for it.
We're going to factor. We're going to factor. We're going to build a planetarium. I'll get the planetarium out. We'll see if the planetarium fits my room.
What? We're going to field trip?
No.
I'm in the classroom. We're going to see if it fits. It's big.
Should we make our own planet?
Can you make your own planet? Sure.
Close and I don't pull. Have you seen those like cardboard boxes?
Mhm.
And they like trying to go.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, but he submitted my first submission.
Because it's on a timer.
See, but I didn't know it.
Oh.
Like I opened it and it said it's like you were
Oh, that's weird.
What are we doing again? I feel like I'm the second. I need to ask for
So if you find the volume here, you'll just multiply by 8, right? Because they're all the same size.
It was the it's green. You broke it actually. Where's that one? You sold it? It's hard. It's really hard. Thank you.
Every single time.
I thought you said get out of first. Then how was it? Oh, God.
I used to bet like 6.
Wait, you said you almost got into the home run. You said a grand slam. Oh, I think that's not possible. You never won. You never won the home run. You have to take multiple bases.
No, man.
Yeah, but he said he backed first. How is he performing with the grand slam? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you just want more than one base than one?
Well, what if they just all hit? You might not have meant to.
No, he meant it. Yeah, he meant it.
I mean, like sometimes those people play football, I know it's different. My brother pitches your ball, I don't even know to. I just crack that thing, I'd be blind. I don't even need to hit that ball.
I mean, yeah, but they never won the game around. They know it's so good. They can hit home runs with their game. So if you know that, then you want other people to bat first. Then you get them. It used to be like during the line. Yeah.
You see Dan.
What is that?
Oh, yeah.
You go first. Yeah.
I think it's such a bad thing in there. It would be perfect. It was a perfect. You fight. Next year, we got the first. Almost got out too.
You know your team.
Almost live.
Yeah, okay.
On Facebook, yes, you did. Live.
He's never been live in her life. She's against live. She's against live. Yeah. She's like
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
She
does. She was like,
like 3 SpongeBob videos.
hello.
I love SpongeBob videos.
Christian, Isaiah, Lana, you guys have any other questions about the spheres? These are all going to count for extra credit. So do as many of them as you can.
This class really worked.
Look, I didn't try. Oh, look. Everyone's got it. The story.
Yay! No, don't pop the piece. Don't do that.
Chips all over. And they put laxative on. And then they flew across.
Yes, the questions on the Google Slides are exactly the same as the puzzle pieces. Exactly the same. Oh, my bad.
I was like, you saw that too?